Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Fright Friday. Today we are talking about The Descent Part 2. Yeah, it's actually The Descent Part 2. In French, it's La Descente 2. But this was a first-time watch for me. I've always loved the original film. This one, well, we'll get into it. We'll talk about cast, production, critical response, all that jazz. So I hope you stick around. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed recently. I really appreciate your support. As of recording this video, I think I'm over 460 subscribers now, so I really appreciate your support, and I love seeing comments and thumbs up and all that jazz, so thank you. Today we are talking about The Descent Part 2, this film. This is a horror movie from 2009, directed by John Harris. This is his only this is his only directing credit. He was an editor on one of my other favorites, The Woman in Black, Kick-Ass, and the original Descent. He was an editor on that, so he took over the directing reins, if you will, on The Descent Part 2. So this stars Shauna McDonald, who plays the character Sarah, also in the original Descent. Natalie Mendoza, who plays the character Juno, also in The Descent Part 1. And this also stars Douglas Hodge, who was in the 2010 version of Robin Hood, as well as the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, this was a first-time watch for me. I was honestly kind of scared to watch this just because the original Descent to me is like one of the most scary horror movies for me. And so I was like, there's no way this is going to be as good. And so I put it off, and I put it off, and I put it off, and wasn't that bad. The synopsis for The Descent Part 2 is: refusing to believe her story about cave-dwelling monsters, the sole survivor of a spelunking expedition gone horribly wrong is forced to follow the authorities back into the caves where something awaits. So, if you know the original Descent, they go spelunking. They've discovered that there's these weird, like, humanoid things living under the ground in the darkness, and they're really spooky. And she survives, this character, Sarah, and then the authorities don't believe her, so they go back into the caves with her so that she can prove, like, what happened. And it lost a bit of its charm for me. I thought, like, the original was so good, but that's kind of the synopsis for this film. Due to the first film being a commercial and critical success, it was decided that a sequel would be produced. While Neil Marshall would not direct the film, he was the director of the original film, as well as I think he did Dog Soldiers. He was assigned to oversee its production as an executive producer. When asked about the film years later, Marshall stated that it was, quote unquote, totally unnecessary. The first film resolves itself. Whichever ending you choose, it wraps it up in a way that was bleak, whichever way you cut it. The second film began, and it didn't pick up from either ending, unquote. John Harris, the editor of the first film, was brought on to direct. While The Descent was released in 2006, Lionsgate, the distributor, edited out the last minute of the film, changing the ending. I don't know if they're referring to I guess they're referring to this one. Director John Harris had the crawlers, these mutant underground dweller type people, slightly redesigned for this sequel. Apart from darker skin tones with better camouflage abilities, they look more feral, and they have more scars, and they have more deformities that suggest inbreeding. Additionally, they have several rows of teeth like a shark for ripping out flesh. So that's nice. There were 18 caves built for the first film, The Descent, and 30 caves built for this film. I don't know why they spent so much time building caves, because I really can't tell most of the time. You really can't tell which cave they're in. But anyway, they made quite a few for this one. Like the first film, the story takes place in the Appalachian Mountains of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in the United States. Actually, the film was not filmed there, but was filmed in the forests of the United Kingdom and Scotland. The film's production company originally planned to release the film directly to theaters. However, as they did not have good distribution financing, they had to settle for a home format release. It did have several theatrical releases in some countries despite that. A Blu-ray version of this film, according to my research, has not been released yet in the U.S. As some of you probably know, a lot of movies get Blu-ray releases in the UK and overseas, but don't end up getting them here. And a lot of collectors have to buy discs from the UK, which are not a region 1, and then you have to buy a region free player and all that stuff. This, I gather, is one of those films that has not seen an American Blu-ray, which kind of surprises me. But and I don't know if there's a Descent 3. Maybe there is. If there's maybe a potential for a box set or something like that down the road. But this film currently holds a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. Variety gave the film a mixed review, stating, quote, "Treading closely in the steps of its predecessor in every sense, the sequel has less emotional nuance, shows more of the monsters, and opts this time for a less interesting co-ed cast instead of the all-femme crew used so effectively in the original. Nevertheless, a popcorn entertainment it delivers and should satisfy fans on all platforms," unquote. I couldn't have really summed it up better. The creatures, you saw more of the creatures in this one, and I don't know, for me it kind of ruined it. Like in the original, there's still kind of like in the background, much like the Werewolves and Dog Soldiers, another Neil Marshall film. This one, they opt to show the creatures a lot more. There's one on the back. They're like these sort of like white, like pasty skinned, like demon things or whatever. I don't know, like cannibalistic humanoids, like this kind of thing. You can see them at her feet here as well. They're not as, they're more kind of like exposed in the light and stuff. And I just didn't like it that much. I thought the original, you didn't see them a lot. And when you did, they were so scary. They didn't really work a lot on the building the tension in this one. As the original, people would get trapped in those, trying to crawl through caves and stuff. Like that part, actually, I found more scary than the monsters. But this one, yeah, it just didn't have the same tension. The creatures were overexposed. The plot was pretty thin, and it just didn't live up to the original. If you're curious, go check out the original, The Descent, directed by Neil Marshall. A way, way better film. This is an okay sequel. This is your straight-to-video type sequel. Maybe a little bit better than your average straight-to-video sequel, but there's not a lot of meat on the bone here. And I would only recommend this maybe if you really love the first one and you want another taste of that world, much like I always say, if you like Lord of the Rings. I know the Hobbit series isn't as good as Lord of the Rings, but if you want to go back to Middle-earth, the Hobbit series can give you that little kind of cheap thrill. This is much like that. If you love The Descent and you want to go back into the caves with some of these characters, here's your movie. But otherwise, not a great movie for me, and probably not one I'll revisit much. But that's my thoughts on Descent Part 2. What did you think of this film? This edition is the 2009 Maple Pictures release. The special features are an audio commentary with director John Harris and actors Shauna McDonald, Kristen Cummings, and Anna Skellern. It also has the making of The Descent Part 2, Deeper and Darker, storyboard gallery, deleted scenes, widescreen presentation. This is from 2010. It is a horror film. It has a runtime of 94 minutes. Thank God for that. This was a joint production from Calidor Films, Path, Lionsgate, and Maple Pictures. It's rated 14 in Canada. This is a Region 1 DVD. I've seen this one around when I've been thrifting. I don't think it's too hard to find. But like it is, to my knowledge, this does not have a Blu-ray release. So I'm not sure of the status on that. The artwork inside is extremely bland. You can see The Descent Part 2. Yeah, so like I said, I would only recommend this to like die-hard fans of the original. If you want another little taste, this is kind of like the well, it's the straight-to-video version of the original one, so not a great film, but not terrible either. Like I've seen a lot way worse, like straight-to-video sequels of things. And some people, like one of the quotes on here says, recaptures the lightning in a bottle of the first film. I would definitely disagree with that, but yeah, that's The Descent Part 2. Did you like this movie? What did you think about it? How it compared to the first one? Leave your comments below. Consider giving me the thumbs up if you like this type of content or this review. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I appreciate everybody who has recently joined. You're amazing, and I love your support, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, I also wanted to mention that you can currently watch this for free on Tubi in Canada as of the recording of this video, and you can also rent it on Apple TV if you really want. I do watch it for free on Tubi. Save yourself the $5 rental fee. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Descent Part 2. Yeah, that's it for today. This past week, I did review Strange Invaders on Cult Movie Tuesdays, and this past Monday on Mainstream Mondays, I reviewed the Kevin Bacon thriller Death Sentence. So if you missed those, go back and check them out. And next week, Conan the Barbarian on Monday, Red Sonja on Tuesday, a little double feature there. And then next Friday, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, one of my favorite, more recent movies. I guess it was probably like 14 years ago that it came out. But yeah, I'll be talking about that movie, the horror comedy Tucker and Dale versus Evil. So be sure to stick around for those. And that's it. Happy Easter to everybody. I will be back on Monday with my review of Conan the Barbarian. And that's it. Until next time, I will see you at the video store or at the thrift store or just out and about somewhere, but hopefully not being chased by white inbred demons in a spelunking cave. That would be bad. Until next time, take good care of yourselves. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.